The Hero from a Universe Next Door Part 3. The rest of the day passed quietly. Following the giant tracks proved difficult. Whatever creature had made them seemed to wander. And unfortunately, rain from 2 days earlier had washed away much of the evidence. Still, Sapphire's tracking skills were remarkable. Broken branches, bent grass, scattered fur. Small clues invisible to Mitchell. You really are amazing at this. Mitchell smiled. Sapphire's cheeks turned slightly blue. Thank you. It's mostly experience. Far above, Mara grinned. Compliment successful. Another creator god nodded. Critical hit. Eventually, the sun began setting. The forest turned golden. Birdsong faded. And Sapphire looked upward. We should stop. Mitchell nodded. Good idea. Together they made camp. Mitchell gathered firewood, and Sapphire prepared the campsite. Soon, a warm fire crackled. Chicken soup simmered in a pot, and the smell made both smile. Mitchell laughed. I think half my adventures revolve around food. Sapphire laughed. They do. And Mitchell immediately smiled. Because he loved hearing her laugh. Though he still didn't understand why. After dinner, Sapphire stood. One moment. She closed her eyes, raised her hand, and quietly spoke. Alarm! A circle of pale green runes spread around the camp. Then vanished. Mitchell blinked. What's that? Alarm magic! If something enters the area, I'll know. His eyes widened. That's handy. Sapphire smiled. Father taught me. Your father taught you a lot. Her expression softened. He did. He always worried. Mitchell smiled. He seems like a wonderful man. He is. Silence. And your mother? Sapphire smiled. Mother worries too. Mitchell laughed. She seems very nice. Sapphire burst out laughing. Mother likes you. Mitchell froze. Really? Very much. Oh. The poor man looked nervous. Is that good? Sapphire giggled. Very. Far above, 21 creator gods laughed. Mara pointed. He fears mothers. Another creator god nodded. As he should. Eventually, the stars emerged overhead, and the two sat quietly around the campfire. Neither seemed eager to sleep. So, Mitchell smiled. What were you like as a kid? Sapphire blinked. As a child? She smiled. I climbed trees. Mitchell laughed. I got stuck in trees. Now Sapphire laughed. Actually laughed. I tried to pet everything. Mitchell blinked. Everything? Everything. Even wolves. Did that go badly? Father rescued me. Mitchell burst out laughing. And you? Mitchell smiled. I like taking things apart. And putting them back together? Usually. Usually? Sometimes. The two laughed together. Then Sapphire asked softly. Were you lonely? Mitchell blinked. A little. I had friends. I had family. But, he looked into the fire. I always wanted someone. Someone to share things with. Someone I could laugh with. Someone I could just sit with. And not have to say anything. Silence. Sapphire stared into the fire. Her ears twitched. Because somehow, without realizing it, that's exactly what they were doing. And somehow, it made her happy. Very happy. Eventually, Mitchell smiled. I'm glad we became friends. Friends. The word made Sapphire smile. So am I. Far above, Mara smiled softly. Friends first. Good. Very good. Then, in the middle of the night, Sapphire's eyes snapped open. Her ears twitched. And the green runes of alarm shimmered. Someone, or something, had entered the perimeter. Mitchell's eyes opened immediately. Sapphire? The dark elf stood, twin swords drawn, and whispered, "Something's here." Far away, two enormous heads argued. "Bruck. Smell food. Mog. Human soup smell good. Bruck. Want soup. Mog. Want chicken. Bruck. Wake humans? Mog. Stupid head. Wake humans after eating soup." And neither had realized that they were only a few hundred yards away from the camp. Morning sunlight filtered through the trees. Birds sang. The stream nearby flowed peacefully, and the smell of coffee filled the campsite. Mitchell smiled happily. "Coffee makes everything better." Sapphire smiled over her cup. "Father says the same thing?" Far above, Mara smiled. "Wise man." Another creator god nodded. "Very wise." After breakfast, camp was packed, the fire extinguished, and the two continued following the tracks. Or rather, Sapphire followed the tracks. Mitchell simply admired her work. Broken branches, deep impressions, tufts of wool, scraps of cloth. She knelt beside a tree. Mitchell waited patiently. Sapphire smiled. "Thank you? For not interrupting. Most people talk too much." He laughed. "You seem to know what you're doing." Her ears twitched happily. "I do." Far above, Mara grinned. He trusts her. Several hours later, the forest began changing. Fewer birds. Less sound. Less life. Sapphire stopped. Immediately, Mitchell noticed. "Sapphire?" Her hand rested on one sword, and her voice had become very quiet. "No birds." He blinked. "What?" "Listen." Silence. Mitchell frowned. "That's strange. Animals avoid predators." Her violet eyes narrowed. "Something big. Very big." They continued. Slower now. More cautious. Then, Sapphire froze. Her face paled. Mitchell immediately stepped beside her. "What is it?" Without speaking, she pointed, and Mitchell's smile disappeared. Bones. Human bones. Scattered. Broken. Old. Nearby lay a rusted sword, a broken shield, and the remains of a merchant wagon. Neither spoke. Sapphire closed her eyes and whispered softly, "May Mara guide your soul." Mitchell bowed his head. Neither knew who these people had been, but they deserved respect. After a long moment, Mitchell quietly asked, "Can Ettins be reasoned with?" Sapphire looked surprised. "You think it's an Ettin? The footprints. The two walking patterns. The missing livestock. The bodies." She nodded slowly. "It fits. But Ettins are dangerous. They're stupid. And..." Her expression darkened. "They eat people." Silence. Mitchell looked toward the distant mountains. "If it is an Ettin, can it change?" Sapphire blinked. "What? Can it be reasoned with?" The dark elf thought for several moments. "Sometimes. Rarely. But they aren't demons. They have free will." Mitchell smiled. "Then we try. And if they refuse?" His smile faded. "Then we protect everyone else." Sapphire smiled. Because somehow, that answer made her happy. Very happy. And for some reason, the handsome idiot beside her seemed even more handsome. Which caused another emergency. Ear color. Purple. That evening, camp was quieter. Chicken stews simmered. Stars shone overhead. And neither spoke much. Until Sapphire quietly asked, "Mitchell. Why did you come with me?" He blinked. "Because you asked?" "No. I mean, you barely know me." Mitchell smiled. "Sure I do." Sapphire blinked. "What?" "You're kind. You help people. You love your family. You're brave. You're smart. And He smiled softly. You laugh at my terrible jokes, purred Sapphire. Her ears became purple. Those are terrible reasons. Mitchell laughed. They seem pretty good to me. Far above, 21 creator gods, including Mara, were openly crying. And miles away, inside a massive cave, two huge heads argued beside a campfire. Bruck. Cow best. Mog. No! Elf best. Bruck. Human better. Mog. Pretty elf tasty. Bruck. Pretty elf pretty. Mog blinked. Pretty elf pretty. Both nodded. Pretty elf pretty. And neither one realized that the beautiful dark elf and the strange human who would move heaven itself to protect her were getting closer. Morning arrived. After breakfast and coffee, Mitchell and Sapphire continued following the trail, and the deeper they ventured into the southern forest, the more uneasy Sapphire became. Broken trees, deep footprints, scattered bones, and now, smoke. Sapphire immediately froze. Her hand moved to one sword. Mitchell. He nodded. I see it. Far ahead, half hidden among massive boulders, a cave. And from inside, voices. Sapphire blinked. Voices? Then, both heard shouting. Cow better! No! Human better! Cow! Human! Sapphire slowly looked toward Mitchell. Eden. Mitchell blinked. They argue a lot. That's actually normal. The two quietly approached. And eventually, they saw it. 14 feet tall. Massive. Hide armor. A giant club. And two heads. Bruck. And Mog. Both currently arguing over a sheep leg. Sapphire whispered. Mitchell. That's an Eden. He nodded. I figured. No. That's an Eden. He blinked. Yes. That's bad. Very bad. Then, to Sapphire's complete horror, Mitchell stepped forward. Her eyes widened. Mitchell! The two heads turned. Bruck blinked. Mog blinked. And then, Mitchell spoke. In perfect Eden. Greetings. I wish to speak. Silence. Absolute silence. Bruck froze. Mog froze. Sapphire froze. Birds froze. Probably several creator gods froze. Bruck pointed. Little human speak giant? Mog blinked. Funny human. Sapphire stared. What? Mitchell looked over. What? What do you mean what? You speak Eden. Oh. All languages. All. Languages. Mostly. Poor Sapphy. Brain.exe has stopped functioning. Meanwhile, far above, Mara had fallen out of her chair laughing. Her face. Another creator god wiped tears away. She wasn't ready. Rolling on the floor laughing red heart. Mitchell turned back to Bruck and Mog. His voice calm. Gentle. You need to leave. Bruck blinked. Why? Because people live here. You are hurting innocent people. Mog frowned. Need food. There are animals elsewhere. Go north. There are forests. There are mountains. There are rivers. You do not need to kill people. Bruck scratched his head. Mog scratched his head. For a moment, Sapphire held her breath. Could this actually work? Then Bruck grinned. Human funny. Mog pointed. Pretty elf. Bruck grinned. Pretty elf pretty. Mog licked his lips. Pretty elf tasty. Sapphire's blood ran cold. And Mitchell's smile disappeared. Not anger. Not hatred. Sadness. Because he knew. He had tried. And they had chosen. Then he spoke one final time. I understand. Bruck laughed. Understand what? Mitchell slowly reached for the hilt of his sword. His voice quiet. The second choice. And for the first time, Sapphire saw something in his eyes. Not rage. Not fear. Resolve. Because he had truly hoped that they would leave. And now, there was no other way. Far above, Mara stood, her expression solemn. He offered mercy. Another creator god nodded. They chose. Mara quietly folded her arms. Then let my champion protect them. Bruck laughed. Cow better. Mog grinned. Pretty elf tasty. Mitchell's expression became sad. Not angry. Not hateful. Just disappointed. I hoped you would leave. Bruck raised his club. Little human funny! And suddenly, wham! The giant club slammed into the ground, where Mitchell had stood. Only, he wasn't there. Bruck blinked. Mog blinked. Mitchell stood 20 feet away. Wow! You're fast. Sapphire drew both swords. Flames erupted along the blades. Fire enchant. Whoosh! The twin swords blazed. Far above, Mara smiled proudly. That's my girl. Bruck charged. Tangle vines! Roots exploded upward, wrapping around the Ettin's legs. Bruck roared. Stupid tree! Mog swung and shattered the roots. Mitchell smiled. Nice spell. Sapphi's ears twitched happily. Thank. Wham! Mitchell's sword intercepted the club. Boom! The ground cracked. And poor Bruck blinked. Human strong? Mog blinked. Human strong! Then both heads yelled. Human strong! Mitchell laughed. Yeah. A little. Far above, Mara spit out tea. A little! Together they fought beautifully. Sapphire danced around the giant, her enchanted swords leaving trails of fire. Ice lance! Crack! The Ettin's shoulder froze. Mitchell struck. Shunk! Blood flew. Bruck screamed. And for a while, it looked almost easy. Until Bruck stumbled. And Mog did something unexpected. He grabbed a tree and ripped it out of the ground. Sapphi's eyes widened. Mitchell! Wham! The tree swung. Mitchell dodged. But Bruck kicked. And Mog swung. Wham! Sapphire was thrown. Her swords flew from her hands. And she crashed into a massive oak. Crack! Silence. Everything stopped. Mitchell's eyes widened. Sapphire! Far above, Mara stood. The creator gods became silent. And lying against the tree, Sapphire blinked. Sapphire. Nobody had ever called her that. Not once. Not in 20 years. Sapphire. And somehow, despite the pain, her heart skipped. Then Mitchell was there. Instantly. Sapphire! Talk to me! Please! His voice shook. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should have protected you. Tears ran down his face. And Sapphire stared. Nobody had ever cared this much. Then she saw his eyes. Golden amber. Glowing. Not with hatred. Not with rage. But righteous anger. His right hand glowed. Warm. Gentle. Golden amber. Heal. Light flowed. Pain vanished. Bones mended. Bruises disappeared. And still, tears ran down his face. I'm sorry. Sapphire smiled softly. Mitchell. He looked up. You're crying. I thought. He couldn't finish. So she reached up and gently touched his cheek. I'm all right. Then, her ears became completely purple. Mitchell? If anyone else calls me Sapphire, I'll stab them. He blinked. What? You're the only one allowed. Per Mitchell. Really? She smiled. Really? And then, Bruck laughed. Human cry. Mog laughed. Pretty elf alive. Something changed. Mitchell slowly stood. Still crying. Still glowing. Still holding his sword. And for the first time, Sapphire felt afraid. Not of him. Never him. But for Bruck and Mog. Because she had never seen him angry. Gravity multiplied times 10. Boom! The Eden collapsed. Both heads slammed into the ground. Heavy! Too heavy! The earth cracked beneath them. And Mitchell's eyes burned like amber stars. She. Step. Has. Step. A name. Bruck whimpered. Mog whimpered. Sorry! Far above, 21 creator gods stood. And Mara whispered proudly. Protect them. Boom! Under 10 times normal gravity. Bruck and Mog collapsed. The ground beneath them cracked. Trees shook. Rocks shattered. And for the first time in many years, the Eden felt fear. Too heavy! Can't move! Both heads struggled. But their massive bodies refused to obey. Meanwhile, Sapphire sat against the tree. Completely healed. Completely safe. And utterly speechless. Not because of the spell. Not because of the power. Not even because Mitchell's eyes glowed like amber stars. But because he had cried. For her. And called her. Sapphy. Bruck whimpered. Human magic bad. Mog whimpered. Pretty elf scary. Mitchell slowly approached. Still glowing. Still crying. Still angry. But not with hatred. His voice trembled. I gave you a chance. Bruck swallowed. Cow? No. I offered you another place. I offered you mercy. I asked you to leave? Mog whimpered. No want leave. Mitchell closed his eyes. I know. And now. He looked back toward Sapphy. I have to protect them. Far above. Mara smiled proudly. He understands. Another creator god nodded. He truly is your champion. Meanwhile, Sapphire stood. Slowly. Her ears still purple. Mitchell. He immediately turned. Sapphy! I'm all right. And immediately, the glow around his eyes softened. Poor Sapphy. He really worries about me. She smiled. I'm all right. Then quietly added. And thank you? Mitchell smiled weakly. Always. And somehow, that one word made her heart skip again. Then Bruck roared. Heavy! Mog roared. Hungry! And somehow, despite everything, they still refused. Sapphy looked sadly at the two-headed giant. Mitchell. They won't stop. He nodded. No. They won't. Silence. Then Sapphy slowly picked up her swords. Fire enchant. Twin blades blazed. She looked at him. And he understood. No words were needed. Because they were partners. Mitchell nodded. And raised his hand. Increase gravity times 10. Bruck and Mog screamed. And collapsed completely. Unable to move. Unable to rise. Then, Mitchell raised his hand toward the sky. 3D thought. High above the forest. Matter gathered. Stone formed. And formed. And formed. A massive boulder. 10 feet. 20 feet. 30 feet. Until, 100 feet above the Eton, hung an enormous stone. Bruck blinked. Mog blinked. Both heads looked upward. Oh! Far above, 21 creator gods stared. Another god whispered. That's excessive. Mara folded her arms. They had their chance. Mitchell looked down. His voice gentle. I truly hoped you would leave. Bruck whimpered. Cow better. Mog whimpered. Pretty elf pretty. Sapphy blinked. Then slowly covered her face. Oh, by the gods! Even now. The idiots were arguing. Mitchell sighed. Goodbye. And released the spell. Far above, the boulder fell. Boom! The forest shook. Birds exploded into the sky. Mountains echoed. And then, Silence. 30 seconds later, the boulder disappeared, returning to nothing. And all that remained was peace. No more missing livestock. No more travelers disappearing. No more fear. Just silence. Sapphire quietly walked over, and without thinking, wrapped her arms around Mitchell. He froze. She froze. Both froze. Because she had never done that before. Slowly, Mitchell hugged her back. And for several moments, neither moved. Then she whispered softly, "Thank you for protecting everyone." Mitchell smiled. "That's what heroes do." Sapphire smiled. "No." Her ears became purple. "That's what you do." Far above, Mara openly cried. "They hugged." Another creator god sighed. "You're impossible." "No." Mara smiled proudly. "I'm happy." That evening, neither Mitchell nor Sapphire spoke much. Not because there was nothing to say, but because so much had happened. The Etten was gone. The missing people had been avenged. The roads would be safe again. And somehow, everything felt different. Camp had been set. A fire crackled softly. Chicken stews simmered quietly. And the stars above shone brilliantly. But neither of them seemed interested in food. Not when their minds were occupied by other things. Sapphire sat beside the fire, staring into the dancing flames. And every few minutes, her ears would turn purple, then return to normal, then purple again. Far above, Mara smiled. "She's thinking about it." Another creator god laughed. "Which part?" Mara grinned. "All of it." Eventually, Mitchell broke the silence. "Are you feeling all right?" Sapphire smiled. "I'm fine." He smiled weakly. "Good." Silence returned. Until Mitchell quietly spoke. "I'm sorry." Sapphire blinked. "For what?" He looked down. "You got hurt. I should have protected you." The dark elf stared, then smiled softly. "Mitchell, you protected me. I was the one who made a mistake." "No." "Yes." "No." "Mitchell." "No." Eventually, Sapphire laughed. Actually laughed. And Mitchell smiled. Because hearing her laugh always made him happy. Then she looked at him. Really looked at him. And saw something she hadn't noticed before. He still blamed himself. Poor handsome idiot. So she moved closer, and gently rested her head against his shoulder. Mitchell froze. Completely. Brain.exe stopped functioning. Far above, 21 creator gods screamed. Mara fell out of her chair. "She's using physical affection." Sapphire smiled. "You know." "You worry too much." "Probably." "And you apologize too much." "Probably." "And you blame yourself too much." "Definitely." She giggled. Then smiled. "Good. Someone has to worry about you." Mitchell blinked. "What?" She froze. Her ears became completely purple. "I mean, as your friend." "Obviously. Because friends worry." Poor Sapphire. Critical embarrassment. Mitchell smiled. "I'm glad." Her heart skipped. Because somehow, those two words made her happier than they should. And then, the handsome idiot asked, "Sapphire?" Her ears immediately stood straight up. "Yes? I hope you don't mind. The nickname." Silence. And then, the beautiful dark elf smiled. A smile reserved only for him. "No. I like it." Then her voice became soft. "Actually, I love it." Mitchell smiled. "Good. Because I think it suits you." Poor Sapphire. Direct hit. Heart damage. Fatal. Eventually, the stars above filled the sky. And neither moved. Sapphire resting against his shoulder. Mitchell smiling. Both watching the fire. Neither wanting the moment to end. Then Sapphire quietly asked, Mitchell? If you could go back to your old world, would you? He was silent for a long time. Then he smiled. Maybe. She felt her heart sink. But he looked up at the stars. I think I'd miss this place. The forge. The village. Your parents. She smiled. They'd miss you too. And he smiled softly. I'd miss you, Sapphire. The dark elf froze. Completely. Because she knew. He meant it. Not romance. Not yet. But something precious. Something real. And somehow, that made her happier than she'd ever been. Far above, Mara wiped away tears. He'd miss her. Another creator god smiled. And she'd miss him. Mara grinned proudly. Good. Very good. Then she folded her arms. And now, let nature take its course. Morning arrived quietly. Sunlight filtered through the trees. Birds sang. And for the first time in many days, the southern forest felt peaceful. Sapphire slowly awoke, still resting against Mitchell's shoulder. Her eyes widened. Then her ears turned purple. Very, very purple. Meanwhile, Mitchell slowly opened his eyes. And immediately froze. Brain.exe stopped functioning. Far above, 21 creator gods exploded. Mara fell backward laughing. They fell asleep together. Neither moved. Neither wanted to. But eventually, reality returned. And so did responsibility. Sapphire smiled softly. Good morning. Mitchell smiled. Morning, Sapphire. Direct hit. Purple ears. After breakfast and coffee. Either spoke much. Both thinking about the night before. But eventually, Sapphire looked toward the distant clearing. Mitchell. We should go back. His smile faded. He nodded. They deserve to go home. And so, hand in hand, almost, very nearly, they walked toward the Ettin's territory. The great clearing was peaceful. The massive club still lay where Bruck and Mog had dropped it. Broken wagons, old campsites, and bones. Human bones. Merchant belongings. Jewelry. Weapons. Tools. Clothing. Memories. Neither spoke. Sapphire removed her cloak hood and bowed her head. Mitchell did the same. May Mara guide your souls. For several moments, neither moved. Then quietly, they began. Piece by piece. Carefully. Respectfully. Not treating them as evidence. Not treating them as objects. But as people. Someone's father. Someone's mother. Someone's husband. Someone's daughter. And somewhere above, Mara smiled proudly. They understand. Another creator god nodded. They fight for the living. And honor the dead. Hours passed. Mitchell carefully wrapped bones and belongings separately. Rings. Letters. Necklaces. Family heirlooms. Sapphire's eyes became wet. Because she knew. These things mattered. Families needed something. Something to bury. Something to remember. Mitchell quietly placed each bundle into the bag of infinity. Sapphire smiled. That's a wonderful spell. He nodded. Nobody gets left behind. Her heart skipped. Because somehow, those 4 words perfectly described him. Nobody gets left behind. Eventually, they reached the Ettin remains. And both looked up. The massive club, nearly 20 feet long, made from an entire tree, wrapped in iron bands. Mitchell whistled. Big stick. Sapphire burst out laughing. Mitchell! What? That's an Ettin club! Still a stick. Far above, Mara snorted tea through her nose. Together they loaded. The giant club, pieces of armor, belts, necklaces, bone trophies, everything needed as proof. And finally, Sapphire looked around. It's over. Mitchell smiled softly. Yeah. It's over. She smiled. And nobody else will disappear. No. They won't. Then, without thinking, she slipped her hand into his. And froze. He froze. Both stared at their hands. And both immediately turned red. But neither let go. Far above, 21 creator gods screamed. Mara jumped up and down. Hand holding. Another creator god gasped dramatically. Scandalous! And together, hand in hand, the handsome blacksmith and the beautiful dark elf began the journey home, bringing with them proof that the danger was over, closure for grieving families, and perhaps, without realizing it, the first steps toward a future neither one could yet imagine. The journey home had been peaceful. The southern forest seemed brighter somehow. Birds sang. And the burden of the missing villagers had finally been lifted. Mitchell and Sapphire walked side by side, still occasionally blushing whenever they remembered. The hand holding. Suddenly, twang! 12 arrows flew from the trees. Don't move! Bandits emerged. 12 men. Dirty. Scarred. Poorly armored. Bows drawn. Their leader grinned. Looks like we found ourselves some rich adventurers. Sapphi's hand moved toward her swords. But Mitchell gently touched her arm. I've got this. She blinked. Then, to her utter confusion, Mitchell bent down and picked up a rock. Mitchell? The bandits laughed. He's got a rock. Heh! Scary! Mitchell smiled. No. Prepared. He tossed the stone 10 feet away. Missile attraction. The spell took hold. Bandit leader. Fire! Twang! 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 12 arrows shot toward Mitchell and Sapphire. And then, curved. Bandits. What? Thunk. 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 Every arrow buried itself in the stone, which now resembled an angry porcupine. Sapphire. Mitchell. How does your brain work? I honestly don't know. Then Mitchell frowned. Wait. Bandit leader blinked. What? I know you. What? The magistrate's office. Wanted posters. Sapphire blinked. You remember wanted posters? I have good memory. Bandit leader grinned. So what? Mitchell smiled. Alive. The posters said alive. Sapphire's ears twitched. Alive? Mitchell grinned. Alive. Far above, Mara got popcorn. The bandits charged. Poor fools. Mitchell didn't even draw his sword. Bonk. Bandit number 1 unconscious. Bonk. Bandit number 2 unconscious. Trip. Bandit number 3 face planted. Bandit number 4 swung. Mitchell caught the sword and flicked him into a bush. Whump. Sapphire burst out laughing. Mitchell! What? Be serious! I am. Meanwhile, roots exploded. Tango vines! 3 bandits crashed to the ground. 2 more received twin sword pommel strikes. Whack! Whack! Out cold. 10 minutes later, 12 unconscious bandits. Mitchell smiled. Good teamwork. Sapphire smiled proudly. It was. Then she blinked. Mitchell. Why are you smiling like that? Because nobody died. Her heart skipped. Then, Mitchell began creating things. Shackles. Chains. Locks. And finally, one very long chain. Sapphire stared. Mitchell. Yes? Why? So they don't wander off. Hours later, the bandits awoke. Bandit leader. Why are we chained together? Bandit number 7. Are we livestock? Mitchell smiled. No. Prisoners. Bandit number 5 slowly reached for a hidden dagger. X-ray vision. Dagger in left boot. Bandit froze. Another bandit. Knife in your sleeve. Lockpicks in your belt. Bandit leader. That's cheating. Meanwhile, Sapphire was trying very hard not to laugh. And failing miserably. Because the handsome idiot beside her had just defeated 12 wanted bandits. Using his hands. And a rock. As evening approached, the chain gang slowly marched toward Mara's gaze. And behind them, Mitchell and Sapphire walked together, talking, smiling, and occasionally blushing. Because somehow, life had become wonderful. Far above, Mara smiled proudly. Good. Very good. And now, she looked down at the 12 miserable bandits. And burst out laughing. He used a rock. Late in the afternoon, the gates of Mara's gaze came into view. And with them, home. Sapphire smiled. We made it. Mitchell smiled. We did. Behind them, 12 miserable bandits shuffled forward, connected by one very long chain. Bandit leader. My feet hurt. Bandit number 6. I hate chains. Bandit number 9. I hate him. Bandit number 3. I hate rocks. The guards atop the wall noticed. Then froze. Is that an Eden club? And are those bandits? One guard blinked. Why are they chained together? The other looked at Mitchell. Actually. Never mind. Soon, the front doors of the Adventurers Guild opened. Good evening, everyone. Mitchell smiled. The guild froze. Emily froze. Clara froze. The old dwarf lowered his mug. Guildmaster Boren blinked. What in Mara's name? Behind Mitchell, 12 dirty bandits. One giant Eden club. And several evidence bundles. Bandit leader sighed. I hate this village. Sapphire burst out laughing. And Boren slowly removed his glasses. My boy. Explain. Mitchell smiled. We finished the quest. The quest. The Eden. That's an Eden club. Yes, sir. And the bandits? Oh. We found them on the way home. You found them. They attacked us. So we captured them. See, captured. Mitchell smiled. They were wanted alive. Emily stared. Alive. Clara stared. Alive. The old dwarf stared. Alive! Bandit leader raised a hand. He used a rock. Silence. Boren blinked. A rock? Bandit number 4 pointed. A rock! Bandit number 8 nodded. The arrows curved. Bandit number 2 whimpered. It was witchcraft. Sapphire laughed so hard tears formed. Far above, Mara nearly passed out laughing. Then Mitchell carefully placed several bundles upon the counter. His smile softened. We found these. The room became quiet. Personal belongings. And remains. For the families. Silence filled the guild hall. Emily's eyes became wet. Clara quietly covered her mouth. The old dwarf lowered his mug. And Boren bowed his head. You brought them home. Mitchell nodded. They deserve that. Sapphire smiled softly. We both thought so. Boren smiled. Good. Very good. Then, the old dwarf blinked. Hold on. The Eden. The bandits. That's 18 men. Well, Mitchell scratched the back of his head. Technically 2 heads. 20 heads. The guild exploded into laughter. And then, Mrs. Higgins walked into the guild. Oh my. She blinked. Then smiled. Oh ho ho ho. Because standing beside Mitchell, still holding his hand, was Sapphire. Both froze. And immediately let go. Too late. Mrs. Higgins had seen. Eyes. Far above. 21 creator gods screamed. Mara jumped up and down. Hand holding. Another creator god gasped. In public. And somewhere in the village, Lillian Shales suddenly sat upright. William blinked. Dear? Lillian smiled. Our daughter is holding hands. William blinked. How do you know that? Lillian smiled mysteriously. A mother knows. The following day, Mara's gaze was quiet. But beneath that quiet, something wonderful was happening. Families gathered. Tears flowed. Prayers were spoken. And loved ones who had vanished were finally coming home. Not alive, but home. The village cemetery had never been so full, nor so peaceful. Mitchell stood quietly. Beside him stood Sapphire, her hand gently resting in his. Neither spoke. And when Mrs. Higgins recognized her husband's ring among the belongings, she cried. Not from sorrow, but relief. Thank you? The old woman hugged Mitchell, then hugged Sapphire. Thank you, children. Far above, Mara wiped tears from her eyes. They brought them home. Another creator god smiled. Good children. Later, back at the guild, Borin smiled. Quest complete. Eden eliminated. 12 Red Wolf bandits captured. Total reward. He paused. 12 bandits. 50 gold each. 600 gold. And 100 gold for the Eden. 700 gold. Several adventurers gasped. The old dwarf whistled. Ha! Not bad, lad. Mitchell smiled. Actually, guild master. I'd like to donate 350 gold. Silence. Emily blinked. Clara blinked. Borin blinked. Half? Mitchell nodded. For beginner adventurers. Better gear. Potions. Emergency supplies. So newcomers have a decent start. Borin froze. My boy. That's... His voice caught. Very generous. Mitchell smiled. I remember what it was like to start. Far above, Mara openly cried. Then Mitchell smiled. And, if Professor Shale doesn't mind. William blinked. Yes? I'd like to donate another 175 gold. William nearly fell out of his chair. W what? For your school. Books. Repairs. Supplies. Whatever the children need. The old mage removed his glasses. Not because they were dirty. Because his eyes had become wet. My boy. That's far too much. Mitchell smiled. Nonsense. Education is important. And every child deserves a good start. Poor William. Critical emotional damage. Lillian quietly wiped tears from her eyes. He's perfect. And poor Sapphire? Poor Sapphire was staring. Because this wasn't for show. Mitchell wasn't trying to impress anyone. This was simply who he was. And somehow, that made him even more handsome. Which immediately caused your color. Purple. Then Mitchell smiled. Oh. And perhaps some newer textbooks. William broke. Completely. He wants to buy books. Lillian burst out laughing. William buried his face in his hands. I like this boy. I like him very much. Sapphire smiled. So do I. Silence. William froze. Lillian froze. Sapphire froze. Her ears turned completely purple. Mother! I didn't mean it like that. Lillian exploded with laughter. William burst out laughing. And Mitchell blinked. Mean what? Poor handsome idiot. Far above, 21 creator gods collapsed laughing. Mara fell out of her chair. She said it. Another creator god gasped. She said it first. And somewhere deep inside her heart, though she wasn't quite ready to admit it yet, Sapphire had begun to realize something. The handsome blacksmith from another world, who built grills, who restored old forges, who cried when she was hurt, who called her Sapphire, and who defeated 12 bandits with a rock, had become the most important person in her life, though she still wasn't ready to admit that. Far above, Mara smiled proudly. Good. Very good. And now, she grinned mischievously, I wonder what trouble they'll find next.